The world needs a bunch of geeks.
What do you take?
Especially this world.
Oh, man.
Got a new school, Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right, so if you need it, just walk over here, click away. You're good.
Sweet. Cool, thanks. All right, man, we did this challenge at the gym this morning. They gave me a plate and they said, spin around 20 times and then throw the plate down and jump on the plate. I am still.
We all stand back.
Yeah. Well, the young girl, she was like 22 or something. She did it, not too bad. And she's like, okay, it's not bad. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, I tried it. Well, they said, hey, Jake, we got a challenge for you. I said, okay, I'll do it. Before I even knew what it was. And man, I'm kind of still sick to my stomach about it. Ugh.
Good for your core, man.
Oh, yeah. I was like, man, my wife didn't pack my Dramamine this morning to the gym. Morning. Jeez. Well, it's like 10:05 is real at her 10 o'clock, right? Yeah. A couple minutes early. You just missed the story about how I almost puked at the gym.
What did they make you spin around? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. Well, they were messing with me all morning because I was pulling the sled. And then one of the girls hopped on the sled. And so it was like they were just screwing with me. Yeah. It was my trainer's wife and their friends who give me a hard time. And then they told me to go spin around 20 times and throw the plate down. And so you're spinning and then you throw it and you're like trying to.
Did they video it?
I think so. Yeah. They got a video a couple weeks ago of me because I was pulling the sled and one of the handles broke. And so I pull it and I go boom and then just fell backwards. Sweet, we need another packet.
What's their Facebook name?
Snap Fitness. What's up, buddy? Not too bad, are you? Be right back.
I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Like 3 days a year, and then I'm like, oh, this is really not.
All right, she's bringing you a packet. All right, Sue. Who's got really neat handwriting? Do you have neat handwriting?
Yeah.
Sweet. Can you write some of this stuff down? Just that one spin kind of got me all off-centered. All right, so before we start with today, I figured I'd just kind of ask you guys, I'm going to do a series of these classes, just finance, and kind of trying to build our net worth here. What do you guys want to learn about as far as finances? Like anything you got. And I've got a handful of classes that I've got like kind of planned, but I want to make sure I'm touching what you guys want to learn about.
I don't know if this is within the scope of
Can you write these down?
what you're
thank
doing,
you.
but how to leverage other people's money in such a way that you are making it a win-win on both sides.
Okay, so leveraging other people's money. Win-win, all right.
Just on the same, I need to learn about preparing for retirement, or getting into retirement funds and all the things.
I had that class.
Okay, good.
That's not today yet.
I can't even finish a sentence about it, that's how much I know about
Oh,
it.
yeah. No worries. So just kind of to give you guys some background, when I was a financial planner, I had just gotten a divorce, and then I was teaching a Dave Ramsey class, and I had a negative net worth while I was teaching the Dave Ramsey class. So and I have a degree in finance, was a financial advisor, negative net worth when I was learning all this stuff. So nothing like, no shame here on anything. So yeah. And now it's worth at least $3. Moving up. All right, so leveraging, retirement, anything else? What you guys want? Taxes, okay. That'd be a good one. Yeah, yesterday when Brandy was saying, like she made me feel guilty because I had like a handful of papers in my car, dirtiest my car has ever been. And she knew it yesterday. I was like, man, my car's usually always very clean.
Are those the pictures she shot from you?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. No, it was just like a stack of papers like this, like on my passenger seat. But car wash memberships are tax deductible. So that's where I was going with that. Oh, yeah.
As long as you don't take the mileage, you get either or. You
Right.
usually get both.
Right. Okay, anything else? Retirement stuff? I was going to do like tax advantage, like with their retirement. Yeah, taxes, like, is it better to pay taxes now or when you retire kind of deal? There's different types of plans for those. things like that. That's going to be kind of in a later class as well. But okay, well, cool. Well, thanks for talking a whole lot, you guys. I'll add those 3 things to our group, or to our thing. And if you guys think of anything else, just blurt it out. Because if you guys are anything like me, I'll forget it about 4 seconds after I think about it. All right, so today, with the investing club and things like that, what I'm wanting to try to do is kind of get the net worth of our office up. So we'll all be, there's, like I said in our post yesterday, it's the difference between making a lot of money and being wealthy. Back, especially when I was doing financial planning, there was a lot of people that didn't make a lot of money that were very wealthy versus a lot of people that make a lot of money and are broke. So there's a big difference in that. So what I want to try to do is make sure that we have a good, today is going to be kind of the foundation, get us set up so then we can start creating wealth and start investing in real estate or retirement or whatever we want to do, or go on trips, vacations, whatever your why is. So I've got a monthly cash flow budget printed out here for you. Don't put your income in yet. Just fill out these as best as you can real quick. Take a couple minutes, look at your bank statements, try to fill these out as best as you can. And if they kind of vary, just go off of an average or a best guess. And it's 2 pages.
You're using the spent column or?
Just budgeted.
Okay.
Yeah, so do the budgeted column, and then at the end of the month, you can go back and see how much you actually spent on that. The first time I did this, I was like, I spent like $30 in drinks and stuff, and I had like $200 in Quick Trip Gatorades or something stupid. It says death by 1,000 swipes. And yeah, that'll take a couple minutes to do all that. Is it hot in here? I feel like Nanette. 73.
I do. I actually haven't broke down my pet. That's how I determine my favorite pets.
That's always changing.
Yes, it does. I do average it out over a whole year, so I do know what it costs without, nature.
Right.
Yeah.
My ponies cost me $723.
The smaller they are, the more they cost.
Yes, I think so. That's everything from shavings to medicine, all of it.
You have one going to another home.
Just this morning it happened. So, yeah.
You
well,
okay?
Yeah, I did try.
Did you get visitation rights?
Yes, and apparently he's gonna be Facebook famous, so I won't keep him.
Oh, good.
Over at her big farm out in Lone Jack, they've got like 15 kids who are about to get out of school.
Oh, yeah.
So he's gonna have 15 kids to play with. So it's
Nice.
good for him. But I
Yeah.
you're right, Ben, I've had him for 10 years since he was a baby, but we were gonna give him up.
Yeah.
I got a little money from him, for him, but nothing like I put into him over the last 10 years or so. But
Yeah, horses are like, do you know how to make a small fortune with like horses? Is you start with a large fortune.
yeah.
Your kids want goats.
My kids want goats?
Yeah, we have them.
I don't think we have any room for goats.
Oh, goats are so fun.
We don't.
Just make room.
We'll just come to your house and pet with the goats. It's all good. I don't think Greenwood allows goats. That'd be. Wouldn't mind a tortoise. I saw those at the pet store. Those are cool.
I've seen 2 people in the last year with a pet tortoise, and they live forever.
Yeah, they live like
But they live forever.
they live like 100 years, like generational pet.
Yes. And that's what we would talk about, is planning ahead for your pet's next life when they'll outlive you.
Mm-hmm.
Same with ponies could possibly be, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely pet tortoise.
Yeah.
Just didn't include it in the sale of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes with Franklin. I hear they eat the weeds and stuff, though.
Goats are better.
Yeah, they don't even, I don't think goats like good grass. I think they just find the junk.
Not for weeds and
Yeah.
leaves.
Uh-huh.
They'll climb the trees, feed the trees, and ignore the grass that's shoulder height.
Mm-hmm. Goats are so, I had a 250-pound goat named Levi one time. He was gigantic. He was a lot of fun. Yeah, he'd get up on his back legs and he'd be way taller than me. He was awesome. He was-
I had a pet goat for about 5 years. It was crazy when she started going through like puberty or whatever it is for animals. They change and you have to establish dominance. She would butt me and I that crazy to bear in mind, but nothing violent, just crazy.
Yeah, I brought a dog kennel to pick up Levi, and he was way too big for it. And so I picked him up from these hippies, and they're like, "No, he goes in the car." I said, "What?" So we laid a tarp down, and he's sitting in the back of the back seat with his head out the window like a dog. It's a 250-pound goat, and then we were in a old F-250, it was tuned up turbo, it was really fast. This Mustang comes up beside us and starts trying to race us. So we're going like 120 with this goat pinned to the back seat with his head sticking out the window. I mean, that'd be so funny to get pulled over.
I was walking last night at the park, and a couple walked by, and it looks like she's carrying, a puppy or something, and I thought it was a goat for a
Mhm.
distance. Sure, shit, it was a goat. She's got this goat, and she's walking it on a leash. I'm like, okay.
Figured that'd be a pretty common thing down in your neck of the
Dogs,
woods.
dogs are common, goats.
And let me know when you guys are getting done there.
Weird horses, they're just like pasture dogs.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what you have?
Yeah, there's no, you talk about horses and
Mhm.
money, and I'm going, maybe 500 deep in 7 years. So if I bring the bales of hay money into it, I'm really net zero.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
But they just graze.
Mhm.
That's kind of nice, just catch your pets and look at, yeah.
I have one in the farrier. He's a little lonely. You don't buy a nice horse, how we live.
Mhm.
Just, they do their thing and
We
do
look
our
at them.
thing. Yeah. And within a week, we had Penny. They were all excited. Now they're inseparable.
Problem with horses, you can't just get one.
Yes, yes.
We did have
Especially
one,
if
but he's
one
moping
dies
around.
and you only have one, then you have to keep the goats that you wanna get rid of because they hang out together.
Mm-hmm.
Reliving it at the moment?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. That's why we got Levi, because we had a crazy horse.
Two old horses?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
So I'm looking at all this pasture and I'm going, these days, I think there's gonna be kids' houses out there. I'm gonna do these horses.
Yep.
Yeah, my ex and I had 14 horses at one point. That sucked. Yeah, they were race horses and things like that. That's why I hate horses. Because my first experience with horses is going down to a racetrack and getting untouched horses to train them. Because like a jockey got hurt, so then they had like 33-year-old horses with great bloodlines that have never been touched. Because the whole generation of those horses had never been trained. so they're cheap. They're just freaking nuts.
So you had to do.
So yeah, those were the first horses I hung around. So I don't like horses.
That would ruin you.
Every other horse would be easier than that.
Yeah. Because these are like 16 hands tall,
Oh, yeah.
just not just. They look like freaking like one time I was sitting up on the round pen watching them walk around. It looked like a shark because their backs are just like so muscular.
I'm always amazed by the sheer size of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wide and just all across it. Like, geez, it is crazy that this bundle of muscle is standing here beside me.
Yes.
Not hurting.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Horses are amazing. Yeah, and it's interesting the relationship with humans and horses. And it's good when it's good, and then it probably has, not so good at times. And
I feel bad because I feel like I want us to ride them.
mine were never broke to ride.
They weren't, I know these are, I think the one is, he was 28 or so when we bought the place.
Oh, wow.
He's 35.
Wow.
I don't think he wants you to ride him.
He said he was upper 20s. If he's upper 20s and we've been there 7, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
math ain't mathing because that sucker's supposed to be 35. She was supposed to be upper teens. They're
Yeah.
70 mid-20s now.
Yeah.
And like they're only supposed to be around
About 30.
kind of around 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going.
Yeah.
Wait. dude,
Yeah, every time you get that farrier bill, you're like, dang it.
Yes.
Maybe I didn't get accurate numbers.
Maybe you end up with 2-year-olds and you have them for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That
Yeah.
horse is 400 years old.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that when I raised my hand or bought my first pony. I did not realize ponies live longer. They can live longer, like 30, 35 years.
What's up, Brian?
That's a lifetime. That's a long time.
All right. So I think we're all kind of winding up here. Who has actually filled out a budget before today? Hey.
Personal or business?
Just a personal one.
No, no person.
So I'm going to try to, it's tricky because we have a personal and business, so you can apply both of these to both, but this will be mainly for personal stuff that will pay back your business. But if you guys want to flip to this page here, it's kind of towards a couple pages in there. So that one. So I took my income for the last couple of years and I made it like 100,000 and just put the percentages of how much I would make every month if I was going to make $100,000 this year. And those are kind of my last 2 years. I didn't make any money in February this year. But $100,000 is great. But if you look at the page right after that, this one, so if I'm going to make $100,000 and I budget to spend 72, sounds like I'm doing okay. But on a monthly basis, it doesn't add up very well. So if you look at that second group there, in January I made $2,700 and I spent $6,000. So I was negative $3,200. February I made $4,000, negative $1,300. So that month I was, between those 2 months I was negative 45, 49. If you guys see that on the second box. So that's why budgets are super important on your regular income. Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'll have a big month and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna make $20,000 this month. I'm gonna spend 18 of that because I can, because I'm gonna make another 20 next month, and then I make 0 next month. I'm like, crap, I don't have any money. I'm sure I'm the only one that does that. So, but yeah, that's why I had you guys fill this thing out, because if you guys don't already, I'd like you to start giving yourself paychecks. Once a month or twice a month, depending on how responsible you think you are. I do my weekly spending cash per week. Because if I say I spend $300 a week in fun run money or whatever it is, if I give myself all of that up front, I won't have any at the end of the month. So I have to do it weekly. Oops, that's my plumber.
And what do you use that for? Drinks and
That's for for running money for food, things like that. That's my spending money. I can go golfing. I can't pay bills with it. Not allowed to. So that's the beauty about a budget. It doesn't restrict your spending. It gives you the freedom to spend guilt-free. So if I have $200 budgeted for golf, then I can spend $200 on golf guilt-free. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to be feel guilty that should I save this money? No, it's already budgeted. I put money in my savings already. I can go spend my money. And so it's kind of everybody always thinks a budget's like, well, I don't want to be on it. It's like a diet. They're like, I don't want to be on a diet because it's going to restrict what I can eat. But a budget's the opposite. It gives you the freedom to be able to spend. And especially with our income, it's very important to be on a budget. Because like on that chart there, it shows you how quick it can go upside down. Like even if you making 100 and spending 72 is not the typical. It's usually people make 100 and they spend 105. But even if we do good and spend less than we make, if we don't budget it properly, it can kind of get out of hand pretty quick. So what I like to do on my monthly budget, I like to see what are my absolute must-haves, my mortgage, utilities, groceries, gas. And then anything that's absolutely fixed. If you guys can, add all that up. All your absolute fixeds, you can't live without paying those. And put that number somewhere on your page. I don't think anybody would have came if they knew math was involved. Is this reversible? No. Wish I had a whiteboard. Do you think they can rewrite this? I thought it was, but there's. Oh. Yeah, good thinking. I'll go check on that. But yeah, add up that, and I can't remember what that's called. I think it's like your, darn it, I can't remember what they call that. 1 second. Hey, there we go. Sweet. All right. Okay, so on your monthly must-haves, John Stamos, I cannot remember the name of what that's called. But anywho, that is the stuff that we have to have. So I want you guys to multiply that by 3 to 6. So 3 or 6. Or both. And put those numbers by it. All right, and so that number there is what we need to have as an emergency fund. So I think as realtors, we need to have more closer to the 6, because there's some months where we have 3-4 months where we don't sell anything. So a lot of the times, like if we need that $6 grand every month and then we're $2 grand short, we'll put it on a credit card. And then the next month we make 8, and instead of spending 6, we spend 7 and don't pay off the credit card. And then we just kind of get into the snowball effect. But if we have that big cash there and we give ourselves a paycheck every month out of that account. So what I like to do is, I'm a really good drawer, by the way. I sold this house right there. That gave me money. That money goes into my I call it my savings account. You guys can call it whatever you want, but it's my basically filter account. Save. Got really good handwriting too. And so all my money that I make, every house that I sell, anything, any sort of money that I make comes into this account. And then I filter it out to other accounts. I have a bill account, then I have a spending account, and then I have a savings account or an emergency fund account. This I usually keep in cash. But on my bill account, I will add up all my bills on my sheet, and I will either do 1 to 2 transfers into it a month. So say it's $4,000 is what my bills are. So every single month, $4,000 will be automatic transfer, like a paycheck, from my filter account to my bill account. And then every week, if I want to spend, say, $300, every Monday, it goes into my spend account. And then I put as much money into my emergency fund as I can until that's fully funded. And I like to keep that one kind of out of sight, out of mind. I don't like to use that if I don't have to. That's why I keep mine in cash usually in the safe. If I see it on my bank account, I'm like, hey, I've got more money than I should. But once you kind of have the ability to get the emergency fund out of there, then you can almost have 2 different funds, because we want to have some money still sitting in here. But again, if you have the different systems with the automatic kind of transfers, it keeps you from overspending, because all your bills are paid in this bill account. And that's the only thing that goes out of this bill account. And then the only money you can spend is out of your spending account. And that's budgeted. And then you should have money left over. And then you put a little bit in savings, you build up your emergency fund, things like that. So I like to use that approach to it, especially with your regular income. So does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any other systems that work really well for them?
You could also add another one for future investments, or current or future investments.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them.
Sure.
But these are kind of the basics. And then, yeah, anything that you want to add on to it. I like to have, every dollar has a name on it. So I want to make sure that if this money is meant for bills, that it goes strictly to my bill account, and that's the only thing it pays. I don't want to spend my spending money on bills or my emergency fund. I will spend it if I have to, which I have to every once in a while because we have bad months. But yeah, or like I can have a vacation fund up here. And then I just put that into my monthly cash flow. I'm going on vacation next year, and it's going to cost me $7,000, and it's going to be in 10 months from now. So I need to put $700 a month into my vacation fund.
Those other funds within kind of the investment in that vacation would kind of go under that emergency fund, right? Because the emergency fund is, say, number 1, in theory.
Kind of, yeah. So I like to have the emergency fund, and then I sit it aside. I don't want to ever touch it if I don't have to. So
That's number 1. You don't really go on vacation.
Right.
Emergency fund.
Correct. Yeah, you want to fund your emergency fund, for sure.
So that's tier 1, tier 2 would then be split into what you want to do with the quote excess.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I start with those 3. You have your bill, your spending, and then your emergency fund. And I like to have this filter account too, just because say if we make 100,000 and this gets 50 and that gets 22 and that gets whatever 20, then this still has 10 in it. And then I can still continue to keep paying myself. And it's kind of tricky. Once you have the emergency fund filled, it's a little easier, because now we're trying to fill 2 buckets at the same time. But anywho, that's what I like to do, is kind of put them like that. And then that way, whenever I have this funded, I have all my money spent or budgeted, I have all my bills paid, and then I start getting a bunch of money saved up in this. Now I can start thinking about other investments and other things that I want to do with it. Do I want to go on vacation? Do I want to buy more horses? Do I want to buy real estate? What do I want to do with that extra cash? But without having labels and stuff on them, most of the time this cash kind of comes right down into here somewhere, and we don't really know where it goes. Somewhere around the spending category. I have no idea usually where most of our money goes. Yeah, like I said, the first time I did the budget, I was in shock about how much I spent on just stupid stuff. It was Quick Trip for $5, and then Taco Bell for $8, and then like times 20, I was spending $300-400 and I didn't even know it.
Do you use like QuickBooks or something at the end of every month to sort that out, or how are you?
I just use my bank accounts. So I have
Okay,
a debit card on this account. I have a debit card on this account, but I don't keep it in my wallet. And I don't have a debit card on this one.
okay.
And then you can also have like a business account too, if you want to. But this is just,
Where I just go type in, like off my bank account,
Mhm.
type it in, but it automatically calculates everything for me.
Oh, okay.
So it's just got automatic calculations and that shows me where I'm off.
Exactly what you're doing.
mhm,
There's also an every dollar
mhm.
that Dave Ramsey has, that you can put the app on your phone
Yeah, that's what
as you're
one of
doing
these.
gas.
Mhm.
Put it in there.
Oh, okay.
Your
Mhm.
tonic, get a drink, just put it in there.
Okay.
The nice thing too about it, that's why I kind of like the weekly, is because if I put say $300 in there, and it's Friday, I can just check my bank account balance. I'm like, okay, I have $150. I have to make it till Monday. Like that's pretty easy to manage. I can manage $300 over a 7-day period. It's hard to manage $4,000 worth of bills, $2,000 in your emergency fund, then you want to fund your vacation. But if I set it all up on those automatic transfers, the only thing I already know my bills are paid for. All I have to manage is kind of my spending money. And if I run out of spending money, that sucks. But nothing bad happens, except for I just have to sit at home and do nothing. But it's nice outside, so. But yeah, that's why I like this system especially with the automatic transfers. That's the big thing. If you can do most of the banks, you can just put a recurring transfer every single month, and then everything's kind of managed for you, and you don't have to do it. You have to set it up here, and then I like to start with a little bit of extra money in my bill account. Put an extra $500 in there because sometimes your electric bill's higher and things like that. And then you want to check on these every couple of months, because if you have $4,000 extra in your bill account, then maybe you can siphon some of that off, put it in your emergency fund, and kind of bring it back down almost to the zero balance, because now you have $4,000 sitting there that's not doing anything for you. But if you put that $4,000 in your emergency fund, now that's funded. Now you can fund your vacation fund and things like that. So I like to review them every couple of months. All right. And then this, I know this class is going to be boring. The next ones are going to be fun. But we can't really talk about the other stuff without getting the fundamentals, the foundation poured. And if we don't get a hold of our spending and of our cash, it'll be impossible for us to ever build any wealth. It's very, I think Dave Ramsey said it again. He said, money's not evil, like the love of money is evil. But how many people can you help if you're poor? Like, we can't do anything. But if we had, like, how cool would that be to just have money sitting aside and you see somebody struggling, you're able to go buy them a car, like things like that. Like this, and you don't have to be rich to do that. You just have to be wealthy and disciplined. But yeah, there's a lot of people that, I mean, heck, teachers, I think, are the number 5 most common occupation for a millionaire. They don't make a lot of money, but they're very disciplined. Surgeons is number 6. So engineers, I think, is 1 or 2. Yeah.
Tell my daughter that weekly.
Yeah.
What's she do?
She's in year 3 architectural engineering.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Dave, when we're in the office, we talk about somebody wants a great house, doctors, lawyers, you know what that third word is, comes up?
Mhm.
Years.
Mhm.
Keep pushing, something for the fame.
So my buddy and I were talking. One of my buddies at the gym is a surgeon, and he says what he thinks that they do is they get you used to being in debt as a med school student. That way, if you're making $500,000 a year from the time you're 30 to 50, you can kind of retire if you don't have any debt. But if they give you those 100% financing on your houses, you get all that student loan debt, and they give you all this perks to get into debt as a surgeon or whatever, then you have to continue to work forever because you're always in debt. He said that's his theory. Because if not, all the surgeons will retire at 50. I thought that was cool. I printed out a lesson plan here, and I've really been following it. Let's look here and see. I did too.
Let's talk a little bit about, we talked about QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
My bank has like I'm calling it knockoff QuickBooks, kind of associated with my account. but all of us need to have a nice package to give to the CPA quarterly or at the end of the year.
Mhm.
And that's the only way to do that.
Mhm.
Take a box of their seats, they're gonna charge you $300 an hour to walk through that box, right?
Yeah.
I do have QuickBooks, but I usually wait till November.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I wait
But
till
it's painful.
That's how.
But you're doing
That's how I
it,
do too.
okay.
January, February, I spend weeks.
Mine's,
Yeah.
mine's weekly because I'm like, shoot, that was this, I need to go in and categorize that one, because usually we're eating there, but that extra can go on the bid, on
Yeah.
Wednesday or the other business. Because then I'll forget,
Mhm.
and then be there, I'm going, how did we not eat in business meetings?
Other expenses. That's where that one goes.
All business meetings.
Can't remember.
So then I'm putting them in most expensive to cheapest, like,
Yeah.
well, that one was obviously business.
Definitely business.
I try to write names on the receipts. And I just put them in a basket and then if I remember, I put them
That's a
in
good
by
idea.
month.
Heck, all the receipts seem to rub off by the time I go back to look at them.
Even get them out of your wallet, you're like, what
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah. Usually, yeah.
Do you need to keep receipts or is your bank statements enough to?
They say you're supposed to keep your receipts with it, but heck, anymore, you can just go to wherever and get your receipts printed off. Most of the stores and stuff like that will keep those.
Has anyone ever worked for a company, this is something, but we used to have to submit expense reports, right, to a company. So we just do the same thing. We submit an expense report to ourselves,
Mhm.
put out on a little spreadsheet, and it's 10 grand, and the 10 can come out, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know being for ourselves, we can kind of do it however you want, and they gotta catch you up a little bit, but, yeah, I don't like that. I can sleep better at night, but that was there, just like whatever incorporated would pay me like a normal bill,
What's up, Rustlin?
I
I like your
really
purse.
track that stuff. I was always a stickler about my checking, with my ledger. So now my ledger went digital like in 2001.
Yes.
So I kept that.
You're just good about keeping up with that. Yes. Yeah, you don't have to panic at the end of the year like everybody else does. And
Yeah.
you just know where you're at. Yes.
I did some bookkeeping for some doctors, lived somewhere else, and, that was their method, in March would be a big file box.
Would you like a packet? Just going over basic budgeting stuff. So there's a monthly cash flow statement on there. And then take all of your fixed expenses, times them by 6. That's your emergency fund that we need to have set up. And then we just went through like,
Even though I've been.
yeah, I've taught it a handful of times. And then every time I teach it, I'm like, why am I not doing that anymore?
I just taught them the same thing. I did the whole Excel spreadsheet and showed them the budget.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, it's myself again. I need to get back on.
Yeah, every time I do it, I'm like, man, it's amazing how much money I waste.
Yes, I spend a lot of frivolous, stupid stuff.
So this is not a Dave Ramsey class, but as far as budgeting and that foundation, he's pretty darn good at all that stuff. So I printed out his debt snowball too. If you guys want to fill out all of your debt that you have, and yes, that includes the Kohl's card for $100. Everything, the second mortgage, anything that you have on there. That is another quick way to start improving your net worth, is by paying off that debt. I got you guys also at the end of your packet just a net worth sheet. You guys can fill out, that can be your homework. Fill that out and see what your net worth is. And then we'll work this program a couple months, and then we can fill it out again. See where our net worth is, see if it's going up or down or where we need to change.
Does everyone know what the debt snowball is? Jake talked about?
Yes, so the debt snowball is try to prioritize them from smallest to biggest. Doesn't matter if the interest rate's 47% or 6%, just the dollar amount. So if you have a $100 debt, we're gonna pay that one off first before we pay off the $10,000 debt. And that's just because it starts it gives you a little bit of momentum. Yes.
I'm familiar with that, but should we also look at, like, if my mortgage is, say, 4% and my credit card is 25%, even, should I go for
Mathematically, that works, but this isn't a math problem. It's a people problem. And so if we try to pay off a $200,000 debt over 10 years, we lose momentum on that versus if we go the smaller ones first, it'll work faster. But yes, mathematically, you are right. But it's, but yeah, the reason that they do the small steps is just like with anything. If you work at anything long enough and you don't see any progress, you're going to get discouraged.
It's some positive reinforcement.
But if,
Small victories.
yeah. And then you take, so say you're paying $100 a month on one debt, on your smallest debt, and then $300 a month on your second smallest. When you pay off your smallest, you turn that $100 payment onto your second smallest, so now you're paying $400. And then you pay that off as fast as you can, and then you just keep snowballing. So the debt payments, I want you to total up your whole payment as well for your debt payments, and then you pay at least that until all that debt's paid off. So just because you paid off a $500 a month payment doesn't mean you get to spend that. That means we have $500 extra, we can pay off our debt. Or split it, go 400 towards the debt, 100 towards your spending. Give yourself a little raise. I'm good with that. I think there has to be, it's kind of like like anything, dieting and cheat meal. If you don't give yourself any free, like some people will say, I'm not going to spend anything, then usually it won't work. I'm going to eat nothing but vegetables for the next month. Well, that'll be great. And then you'll ruin it. Yeah. So that's why I always, yeah, make sure you give yourself enough money to spend. Budget it and be okay with your spending money. But yeah, so once we get our cash up, our debt down, then that'll get us into a position where we can start making these big investments and things like that. Because yeah, some of these things take a lot of cash on some of these houses, or just in general, if you guys want to start doing retirement funds and things like that. That's a fun class. We'll do that one next. That'll be. I know. I'm excited. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a Roth IRA set up?
Yeah.
Good. Wrestling, you got him in line. Yeah, got him in line. You guys are awesome.
You do matching?
We're not gonna talk about those
Okay.
things. Apex is working on it.
I won't tell you what I do then.
No, I think that is a plan of action for our company. Look at her getting all excited.
Yeah. Maximize that.
Yeah. If you guys don't invest anything now, it's usually $50 a month minimum in a Roth IRA. Start that today. I will give you a contact.
Where do you, okay, you're gonna use contact to start that, okay.
Yeah, I'll give you a contact. And heck, even if, like right there at Community Bank of Raymore, Brent Ewart, he's really good too. He's probably getting close to retiring, but they can set those up for you. And it's kind of, unless you're retiring tomorrow, it's kind of hard to mess up investing. If you invest a little bit into mutual funds, just a good blue chip, just go and say, I want to invest in the market, and they'll probably put you in like the S&P 500 or something like that. You're going to make money over time. I'm not allowed to legally say that, but actually, no, my license is expired. I can say that now.
But you have to disclaim that you're not a financial.
Yeah, I'm not a financial advisor anymore. But yeah, if you're just doing something, time is almost more important than the dollar amount. $50 a month for her is worth more than $500 a month for wrestling. Yeah, because if you take, I can't remember, I think it was Einstein that made the rule, the 72 rule. So you take your interest rate divided by 72. So say we have a 10% interest rate divided by 72, so it doubles every 7 years. So if we have $100,000 and it doubles 200, 400, 800, 1.6, and then 3.2, and then 6.4. So that 7 years on the back end was worth $3.5 million. Whereas if you wait 7 years, then you just lost that $3 million. You wait another 7 years, you lose that 1.6. And then you wait another 7 years, now you lost the 800. And so 20 years cost of the same, starting with the same 100,000, it cost you a lot kind of at that end because it's doubling a much larger amount. So, but yes, I think everybody should at least be doing $50 a month. I think that's the bare minimum. I think you can do like 7,500 a year or 8,000. I don't know. They change it every year. Yeah, it was like 5,500 back in the day, or 5,000 at one point. Yeah, and then I think couples you can do double. But yeah, so, and we'll talk about that next time. The reason you want specifically the Roth IRA is because it grows tax-free. So you don't get to write it off your taxes today, but when you retire and you have $1 million in your account and you pull that out, then you have $1 million. Instead of in a 401k, you don't have to pay taxes on it today. Government's so nice. Thank you for not letting me pay taxes on the $1,000 that we earn today. And now that it's $1 million in the future tax bracket, which probably, I don't know, I'm not banking on the interest rates or the taxes lowering in the future. So probably a higher tax rate on a larger amount. They saved you $100 in taxes when you put it in and are taxing you $1,000 pulling it out. Thank you, government. So nice of them. That's why super rich people cannot invest in Roth IRAs. It's a privilege of the middle class to be able to invest in those because the tax savings are so good.
Shelby said you're a little staticky.
Sorry. Sorry,
Maybe
Shelby.
put it on your pocket. Maybe it's like rubbier.
Sorry, Shelby. Is that better?
I'll let you know. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's for next one. But any questions on anything we went over? That's basically the big thing with today is to have a budget, give yourself some money to spend, and then plan to pay yourself a paycheck. So I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes pay myself per house that I sell instead of per month like I need. So, but yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny scenario on that. Just seeing how many months, if I made $100,000 and spent 72, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 months where I was negative. And I'm saving $28,000 a year. I'm not even spending all my money. And then the next year is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. Half the months last year I didn't make my monthly budget.
Thanks for this.
Yeah,
Thanks for all, that's awesome transparency.
yeah, yeah. It was.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, you think about it, yeah. The peaks and valleys.
Yeah. When people, I've had a $50,000 day and a $0 3 months. So somewhere in between that. So, but what questions do you guys have? Concerns, thoughts? Anything else that you guys thought of as far as that you want to learn?
Well, I have my homework, I'm gonna set things up, I do have some of the documents that I'm going to, and I do have the accounts in place, I just didn't know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I learned at Bold, and then I did it that day, and then never followed through, so I'm gonna put that follow through anyways, so.
Yeah, the nice thing about the recurring payments is you only have to do it once. And then it's set up. Unless your bills change, then you update it. And you go in there and you update it, and then it's done. But I like to have it on autopilot. If not, I'll forget about it. I'll forget what I said 3 minutes ago, I feel like. But
I've all my bills on auto pay,
mhm,
but then if you have your transfers for your different accounts on auto pay.
mhm. Yeah, I like to have
So then you're like a W-2 employee or something.
basically, yeah. So
Give yourself a paycheck.
yeah, and so if you want to on your bill account too, you can have it like the first, like have a schedule. That's how I have mine, is I have it first through the 15th, how much are my bills, and then that transfer goes into my bill account every month automatically. And then I'll have the 16th through the 30th. And then that one, so I'll have 2 transfers to my bill account every month. And then 4 to my spending account every month. And again, I don't have to do any of that. I set it up once and it's on autopilot. And then the only thing I can do is spend this money. And then this one takes a little bit more, we have to be a little more intentional about putting your emergency fund in place.
Jake, do you have an account set up for projected taxes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got other accounts and things like that too. I don't remember how, I think I've got like 6 or 7. I don't remember.
That's on top there, probably with that big save, one round.
This one?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably.
Yeah, it's-
off up at that one.
Yeah, so it shoots off of, so yeah, so all my money comes into here and then I will figure out kind of where it goes. And sometimes I can spend out of that money if I need to, but I think I don't have a whole lot that comes out of that account other than just my transfers.
Typical W-2 employee is essentially, if they're having a full shit,
Mhm.
they're essentially giving the IRS a interest-free loan,
Mhm.
right? And then they get all excited when they get a refund.
Right.
It's like, well, you can
Yeah.
just, multiply or divide the inflation, et cetera. But, so a better way to think about that, to reframe that is to, if you can, at the beginning of the year, just set, or whenever, set aside, like get a certificate of deposit at least.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're making at least some kind of negligible interest
Mhm.
on that big expense that you know you're gonna have.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, heck, money markets right now, some of them are getting like 4.5% on some of these online ones. So yeah, that's kind of where I put my taxes stuff. And then I've got like my rental property taxes and things like that going to those kind of things. Again, the ones that I don't want to spend, but they have a name on those dollars. When I get in trouble is whenever these squiggly lines that money just starts coming out of, and I have no idea where it's. Because again, I don't ever go out and buy anything that's $2,000. I go buy a whole bunch of things that are $80, a lot of $50, a lot of $20, and those add up quick. And it irritates me because I'm like, dude, I didn't freaking buy anything this month. How am I out of money? And I look back, I'm like, okay, 30, 30, 20, 20. I'm like, what in the world? It drives me nuts. But yeah, that's the main thing. But yeah, again, once we get this set up, then we can start getting ourselves set up for bigger things. But without this, we can't do anything. But yeah, so next time we'll probably go over the retirement accounts because I just can't wait. That'll be fun. And then yeah, I can bring somebody in for that, or we can just do a Q&A. I can kind of give you the basics. I've been out of it for a little bit. I'm no expert in it by any means. I know enough to be dangerous, but we'll go over some of those things. I'll go over different tax plans and certain funds and things like that. But again, it's pretty hard to mess up. Just go S&P 500 and it'll be fine. You might not get the world's best return, but you will get some sort of return over time. You can accidentally become a millionaire if you're intentional about putting money in every month. You'd be a multi-millionaire and accidentally putting money into a mutual fund every month. The rest of us aren't that lucky. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think what was it? Dave has again, he's got a lot. I've taught a lot of his classes. He's got a lot of good stuff. He had some kid invested $500 a month from the time he was like 16 to 26 or 18 to 26, and then stopped. And then had another guy invest from the age 26 till he was 60 or something like that. And so he invested for 40 years, and the other kid invested for 10. And the one that invested 10 at the younger age had more money than the one that invested for 40, just because that compounding over time. It's so stupid. It's.
My wife got into a doctor's office when she was, say, 19 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working somewhere and I put in money and I was making more money than her, but with their profit sharing, that office was putting in several times what she was putting in per year, but it was at those young ages. And now that 401k account there's half of our net worth.
Jeez. Yeah.
But it started off with that little nut that I didn't understand. I'm like, why are they putting, how are you getting so much money in there? It doesn't make sense, but there was this profit share part.
That's sweet.
And being so young, just what you're telling her, is about, time is of the essence, on that stuff.
And kind of.
Little pennies now or big dollars later.
And kind of the thing with investing is like everybody's watching the news. I have a rough idea how much is in my investment account, but I don't know. I haven't looked at it in 10 years. Just because it's one of those things. Am I retiring tomorrow? No. Then what do I care if the market crashes today? That's a great time for me to put more money in. Because if it's like anything, is the stock worth $100? Yeah, I can buy it at 78 because the market crashed. I'd buy a truck for $30,000 if it was worth $40,000. That makes a whole lot of sense to everybody. But when the stocks crash, everybody freaks out and sells. No, that's when we want to go buy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, heck, even the 08 crash was like 16 months or something like that, or I can't even remember how long it was. It wasn't that long before you were back up to positive. You're guaranteed to lose money if you cash out that day, but just kind of but when you're like 5 years from retiring, then you want different accounts, like annuities and things like that have kind of safeguards, things like that. Those are fun.
I wouldn't have blown all my money on trying to open a company at 27. I would be retired now. I took all of my money out of my stocks that I had tons of money in from all the merging and investing that happened. That's fine. I'll just work it. That's fine.
You'd get big penalties for cashing out now. You're not old enough yet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yes, I would still have some.
And you'd have to be
but
working.
I would be
You couldn't
very
relax.
well off.
Yeah.
I know I can't. But that was a big, I mean, yay for me for trying to take a risk,
Mhm.
but I lost a lot of money doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Regret
it's very sad.
Regret might be more expensive though.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get to go,
Yeah,
well, if
so
I should
true.
be retired right now.
So true.
I screwed up and didn't go for it.
Yeah, so true.
That's another thing too. Don't try to time the market. It's just like every time you're like, I'm going to wait to invest tomorrow, and the stock goes up. I guarantee if you put a bunch of money in today, it's going down tomorrow. Guaranteed. But the dollar cost, that's why you do it every single month, the same dollar amount. I'll go over that next time, dollar cost averaging, things like that. That's the way to do it. Just the same amount every month. Doesn't matter what day. And then if the market crashes and you have extra money you want to put in, that's fine too. But really, it's kind of kind of set it and forget it every month kind of thing.
And you may have said this, and I'm really sorry, for compounding interest, things to put our money in
Mhm.
versus like our Roth and stuff, would that be better at some of our older ages to put that in?
So-
Compound interest situation?
It depends. So like 10 years kind of minimum. Like I like to have a 10-year period if I'm going to invest in any sort of like growth stocks or things like that. Or if I have nothing and I only have 10 years, maybe I have to be a little more aggressive. And then that'd be something you'd want to get with an advisor. If you're getting towards the end of the road, I kind of like annuities because they have the safeguards. Some of them say, well, you can't lose any more. You'll at least gain 6% interest this year. And then if the market goes up 20, maybe you only get 12. But if the market goes down 20, you get 0 or 6. Because that's the problem is if, say you have $1 million and you need to take out and you want to get $80,000 every year. It's like, okay, I can get an 8% return every year, that's doable. But if it takes a 20% crash, now it's $80,000 and you take out $8,000 and now it's really hard. Now you have $72,000 that you're taking, or 720, you know what, you know my math there. Now it's much harder to get that back up. So that's why I kind of like those annuities towards the end of the time. But like the last 10 years, because I think I can't remember what you have to be on. I think you have to be 59 and a half to even get those. And then, no, like till you can cash out. But and those are good investment tools and stuff too for like old people that are retiring. Well, I mean, no. As us as realtors, because I had a client. She had to sell her house and she's going into assisted living and needed cash flow every month. So he took her $200,000 that she got from her house and turned it into like $1,400 a month of income every month forever. And then if she goes into like a very high assisted care, it doubles for 5 years or something like that. And then I got paid a little bit of money on the annuity. And I helped her out and sold her house. And so it was a really good fix for her because she couldn't keep her house up anymore and needed an income. So those are really, really, if you guys have any scenarios and stuff like that, let me know. I can still help with those. I just can't do the stocks and things like that anymore.
Jake, I'm not sure I fully understood. So you took equity in her home?
Well, we had to sell our house.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay, so I guess I caught it at the tail end, you sold her house, but what was happening before?
so she was old, couldn't live in her house anymore, had to sell it,
That's how you started the.
and yeah, and needed some income because she was going to go into from a paid house to assisted living or whatever. And so we took the money from her bank, from her sale, and invested it, and now she has a monthly paycheck every month until she dies. If she lives to 140, she'll still get money back. And there's different riders and stuff like that on those where if, like it's within the first 7 years, you still get the certain premium back. Because like if they have only paid out 2 months and then you die, then they're like, okay, yeah, we're keeping your 200 grand. We paid you $2,800 or whatever it is. They have certain different riders and stuff like that. But yeah, so, but just kind of basics for pretty much everybody in here. Roth IRA isn't too bad.
What's your opinion on long-term care policies?
They're expensive.
The older you get, the more expensive they get.
They're very expensive. I don't know. Those are kind of case by case. It depends on if we can afford them, and kind of if you're like, I don't know. They're kind of.
Medical history, things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Like certain people that have, really, I didn't sell a lot of that just because most of them were very wealthy people that had those, which is sad. There's other.
It is sad. As my mother's full-time caregiver, I really wish they had bought long-term care plans.
And it just kind of depends too on, I used to always run those kind of side by side. If I was to invest that money every month, how much would it be versus if I was to buy that insurance premium? So it's hard to just say like, I'm not against them, but I'm not for them for everybody. And just kind of, there's a politician answer there. But it really is just case by case. Because if it's $800 a month, that's not a fit for most people.
No, mine is like less than $100.
Okay, then that's reasonable. I wouldn't buy it at her age. I'd invest if I was her. Because her $20 a month is going to be worth $2 million when she retires. And she can that $2 million will create enough revenue to buy long-term care and have some money left over. But yeah, long-term care, like 55 and older is kind of where I was looking at those. Kind of the same time I was looking at the annuities and things like that. But you guys are getting into this class number 2. I told you first class is boring. Second class is fun. But I can't do the second class without doing the first one. So, but, did you want to learn anything finance-wise, money-wise? We have how to leverage money for like win-wins, retirement plans, or retirement funds, and taxes. Those are the other 3 things. I've got a handful of other stuff that we're going to go over, but anything that you're wanting to know? Okay. Yeah, and then if you guys think of anything too, just text me later, and I can add it. Or I can say, no, that's a stupid idea. We are not adding that. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Cool, but that's pretty much it. Well, thank you guys for coming. Hopefully that helped. Yeah. The next one will be more fun. Come to the next one.
Is it on schedule or is it something or what do you think?
It'll probably be in a month. So I don't think it's on the schedule yet, though.
No, I didn't want, you know, it's every weekend for next year.
Yeah, no. Yeah.